Alright guys, we are graphing the equations of lines, and we're also writing those equations of lines. And right here, this is called doing it from a slope-intercept, with a slope and an intercept. Okay, so we're going to look at graphing this line first. So what I've got here is this b equals -4. Now, do y'all know what that's called? Somebody tell me what that is. Well, that's right. That is your y-intercept. So whoever said that, good job. And so what you're going to do is you are going to find where that point is on your number line, which is your y-axis. And so I'm going to start here on my origin, and I'm going to count down to -4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's my y-intercept. So that kind of gives me a point of reference to start. And then the next piece of information that helps me make the graph is my m is equal to 2, and that's this line right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count up to and over 1 from there. And that gets me 2 points. And then from here, I just use a straight edge or something to make my line. And I just want to make sure I'm going through those 2 points. And so right there, I've graphed that line with a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of -4. And when you're given the information like this for your slope and your y-intercept, when you get it nice and packaged nice and neatly like that, it's even easier to write the equation. So for the equation of this line, that's y equals 2x minus 4. That's how we're going to go ahead and graph that. And so you'll want to follow along with the handout that you've got in front of you. And we'll go on to another one that's a little bit different with a different type of slope that you need to get ready for. And that's what if you get a slope that's a fraction, okay? Well, you want to pay attention to this top number. And the top number, that top number tells you, that top number is going to tell you, let me underline that top number too. That top number tells you whether you're going to go up or down. And in this case, this is going to have a positive slope. So my line is going over and to the right. So I look at my b equals -2. And that -2 tells me I'm starting right down here. And now this slope works a little bit differently because it's a fraction. Okay? So the number that's in the numerator, or the number that is on top of the fraction, or the number that comes first, depending on how it's written, that tells you whether you're going up and down. And now you can see that this does not have a negative sign. So that means from my point, I'm going to count up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's my point right there. And then I am going to make my graph right going through those 2 points. That's my linear equation going through those 2 points. Like I said, it's not perfect because the iPad doesn't communicate real well with my fingers sometimes. But you get the idea. And now to write my equation, I just have my slope and my y-intercept, so it looks like this. Y equals 4 over 5x minus 2. Okay? So on your paper, you should have a couple of these graphed, right? And you get the idea of how you count. Okay? Now the other situation that we have to look at is what happens if it's a negative slope like this one. And this is m equals -3 and b equals -1. The only thing that changes now is that you are going to be going down instead of up. Okay, so the b equals -1, that tells me where I'm going to start. I'm going to start right here. Okay, and the m equals -3 tells me I'm going down 3 and over 1 to the right. I always go to the right no matter what happens. That's the way I do it. And then I'm going to connect these dots just like this. Okay? And I didn't do a very good job, so let me erase this last one and start over here. I want to go through these points. Okay? And then you'll want to extend that line going in the other direction. I'm trying to. So it looks something like this. It's not a perfect line, but you can get the idea. I'm trying to go right along this line right here. Okay? Now my equation is pretty simple. How do we do it? We say y equals -3x minus 1. Okay? So what I need you to go ahead and do now is go ahead and complete those other 3 graphs on your paper, and I'll catch up with you in just a second. All right. Right here, you see these tables, and what you're looking to do is you want to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Okay. Now y'all can remember doing this in your Algebra 1 classes, the 3-column process chart. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and fill in your 3-column process chart with those numbers. So you got the line -1 and +1, and you got 2 and 7. And so what I want you to do is I want you to look at what kind of change is happening, okay? You got a change going on from -1 to +2. How did you change? That's a +3, that's right. And you got a change from 1 to 7, that's a +6, okay? Remember, your job is to write this in slope-intercept form, and so on your fraction, this number is going on top, and on your fraction, this number is going on bottom. So now to do it in slope-intercept form, you're going to put the top over the bottom to make the slope. And so the slope of this line is 6/3. And you know what that reduces down to? That reduces down to 2. Okay? Now, you'll also notice that we've got the point 2 and +7 right here. That's the point 2. And we got the point +7 right here. So we're going to figure out, after I plug my slope in, what do I need to do to find the y-intercepts? Okay? So we have a slope of 2. And so I'm going to say 2 times 2 plus some number equals 7. And when I do that, I get 4 plus b equals 7. Well, if 4 plus b is equal to 7, my b has to equal 3. So my slope-intercept form of this equation is y equals 2x plus 3. So that's my equation in slope-intercept form. Now hold on to that 2 because we're going to use that in just a minute. Second, actually. We're going to do this one in point-slope form, and that's kind of in the middle of your paper down there. Well, that's easy, but before we ever do point-slope form, I want you to write out the equation like this. It's going to be kind of a fill-in-the-blank kind of deal. You're going to say y minus blank equals the slope and x minus blank. Now, let's figure out what we have to plug in here. Y'all remember, it's the same set of points that we just had. And since it's the same set of points, I'm just plugging in some numbers here. Okay? Well, what numbers am I plugging in? I'm going to use this one for example. Okay? This is my x. And let me make a better x for you right there. This is my x. And this is my y down here. Okay? So when I plug in my numbers, what is the y-coordinate on this point? 2, 7. That's right, it's 7. Okay? What is the x-coordinate? Well, that's 2. Now to find out my slope, that we just did that the last time, you already know what the slope is. The slope is 2. So this equation now has been written in point-slope form. And on the last part, we have to make this in standard form. Okay? So to do standard form looks like this. AX plus BY equals C. To do standard form, I have to get all the X's and the Y's on one side of the equation. Okay? Now you'll remember that this equation was y was equal to 2x plus 3. That's what the equation is. I'm making a video. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Tell them your name, Melanie.
My name is Little Nene. I was in the last video y'all saw.
Okay. That's hello from Little Nene. Now, to work through this particular problem, you got to just get everything on one side, all the x's and y's on one side. Okay? And to do that, you're going to subtract 2x from both sides. And that's going to leave you with negative 2x plus y equals 3. And now to make it in standard form, you got to make sure that your x term is positive at the beginning. So I have to make that positive. And to make that positive, I have to make everything else negative. And so when I do that, I write 2x minus y equals 3. And that is your standard form equation right there. Okay? So, what you'll want to do is, there's another problem that's kind of like this with different points. I want you to try that one out and see what you can do.